Chapter 5, Networking Concept. A network can be defined as a group of computers and other devices connected in some ways so as to be able to exchange data. Computer network devices and components with host devices, any devices that sends and receive information on the network, computer, printer, etc. Intermediary devices exist in between host devices, media, component over which message travels from source to destination. Network components and types. Types of network icons, intermediary device icon, such as switch, access point, router, wireless router, network media icon, LAN media, WAN media, wireless media, network cloud, host device icon, desktop computer, laptop, server, tablet, smartphone, printer, camera, phone, and scanner. Types of networks, network topologies and description. FAN, personal area network, commonly use Bluetooth to connect a mouse, keyboard, phones, and tablets. The LAN, local area network, a wired network consisting of switches and network devices in a limited geographic area. VLAN, virtual LAN, extends beyond a traditional LAN and groups users based on administratively defined boundaries such as department or floor. WLAN or wireless LAN connects multiple wireless devices and uses an access point. WMN, wireless mesh network, connects multiple wireless access points together to expand the wireless network. MAN, metropolitan area network, a network that spans a city. The WAN, wide area network, a network that spans a large geographical area. The VPN, virtual private network, a method of connecting to a network, such as a company network, across an unsecured network. Brief history of connection technologies. Analog telephone access, dial-up, use an analog modem to call another modem. ISDN, Integrated Service Digital Network, more bandwidth than dial-up, can carry voice, video, and data. Broadband, use different frequencies to send multiple signals over media. Internet connection types, DSL, Digital Subscriber Line, always on the technology that uses phones lines, voice, and data, carried on different frequencies, requires a filter on the port that connects to a phone. Cable, uses a cable modem to connect to the traditional cable TV network, shares the network with multiple subscribers. Fiber, high bandwidth connection, used in backbone network, large enterprise environments, large data centers, and now part of some home internet connection. Line of sight wireless internet service. Line of sight wireless, always on technology that uses radio signals for connecting to the internet. Clear path required. Weather affects signal strength and performance. Satellite. Satellite, broadband technology for remote access. Use a satellite dish. Not a good solution for the time-sensitive application like gaming, Voice over Internet Protocol or VIOP, and video conferencing. Cellular. Cellular relies on cell towers to create a network used by the cell phones and connectivity to the internet. Mobile hotspot and tethering. Cell phone option that allows another device to connect to the internet using Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or USB cable. The other device is using phone cellular connection to connect to the internet, called tethering or a hotspot. A mobile hotspot is when a cell phone allows Wi-Fi devices to connect and use mobile data network. 5.2 Networking Protocols, Standards, and Services. Transport Layer Protocol, the TCP/IP model. The TCP/IP model was developed prior to the OSI model. The OSI model and the TCP/IP models are both reference model used to describe the data communication process. The layer application, FTP, HTTP www, SMTP email, DNS, TFTP. The transport layer, TCP, UDP, Internet, IP, network access, LAN connection, WAN connections, the TCP and the UDP, TCP, SMTP, POP email, HTTP, required protocol properties, reliable, acknowledge data, recent lost data, delivers data in sequence order, UDP, IP telephony, streaming live video, required protocol properties, fast, low overheat, does not require acknowledgement, does not resend lost data, delivers data as it arrives. Transport Layer Protocol, TCP, three basic operations of reliability. 1. Numbering and tracking of data segment. 2. Acknowledgement of received data. 3. Retransmitting any acknowledged data after a period of time. UDP, very little overhead or data checking. Best effort delivery protocol, unreliable. No acknowledgement that the data is received by the destination. Application port numbers, classify application port numbers. World Wide Web protocols, the port, transport protocol, application and description. Port 53, transport protocol, TCP, UDP, application protocol, DNS. Port 80, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, HTTP. Port 443, transport protocol, TCP, UDP, application protocol, HTTPS. Email and identify management protocols, port 25, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, SMTP. Port 110, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, POP3. Port 143, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, IMAP. Port 389, transport protocol, TCP, UTP, application protocol, LDAP. Remote access protocol, port 22, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, SSH. Port 23, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, Telnet. Port 3389, transport protocol, TCP, UDP, application protocol, RDP. Network operations protocol, port 67 and 68, transport protocol, UDP, application protocol, DHCP. Port 137 to 139, transport protocol, UDP TPC, application protocol, NetBIOS, NetVT. Port 427, transport protocol, UDP TCP, application protocol, SLP. File transport and management protocol, port 20, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, FTP. Port 21, transport protocol, TCP, application protocol, FTP. Port 69, transport protocol, UDP, Application Protocol, TFTP. Port 445, Transport Protocol, TCP. Application Protocol, SMB, CIFS. Port 548, Transport Protocol, TCP, UDP. Application Protocol, AFP. Wireless Protocol, WLAN Protocols, IEEE Standard, 802.11a, maximum speed 54 Mbps, maximum indoor range 115 or 35 meter, frequency 5 GHz, 802.11b, maximum speed 11 Mbps, maximum indoor range 115 feet or 35 meters, frequency 2.4 GHz, 802.11g, maximum speed 54 Mbps, maximum indoor range 125 feet or 38 meter, frequency 2.4 GHz, backwards compatible 802.11b, 802.11n, maximum speed 600 Mbps, maximum indoor range 230 feet or 70 meter, frequency 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz, backwards compatible 802.11a, B, and G, 802.11ac, maximum speed 1.3 Gbps or 1300 Mbps, maximum indoor range 115 or 35 meters, frequency 5 GHz, backwards compatible 802.11a and N, wireless protocol, Bluetooth, NFC, and RFID, Bluetooth, up to 7 devices to create a PAN, 802.15.1, 2.4 to 2.485 GHz radio frequency range, RFID, passive or active tags, use identify items, passive, rely on RFID reader to activate and read, active, EB battery to broadcast the ID up to 100 meters, 125 MHz to 960 MHz radio frequency range, the NFC, near field communication. Devices must be in close proximity to exchange data, used for payment, printing, public parking, etc. Zigbee and Z-Wave. Zigbee requires a Zigbee coordinator to manage clients' devices connected in a wireless mesh network. Devices commonly managed from a cell phone app. The IEEE 802.15.4 standard, 868 MHz to 2.4 GHz range up to 20 meters, 65,000 devices, and the data speeds up to 250 kbps. Z-Wave, proprietary standard, but public version available, 232 devices, can connect to a wireless mesh network with data speed up to 100 kbps. Cellular generations, 1G, 2G, first generation was analog calls only. 2G introduced digital voice, conference call, and caller ID with speed less than 9.6 kbps. 2.5G support web browsing, short audio and video clips with speed up to 237 kbps. 3G, full motion video and streaming music at speed up to 2 Mbps. 4G, IPv6, IP-based voice, gaming services, high quality media at speed up to 672 Mbps. LTE, long-term evolution, means it meets the 4G speed standard and improves connectivity while in motion, speed up to 100 Mbps when mobile and up to 1 gigabytes per second when stationary. 5G supports augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, VR, smart homes, smart cards, and data transfer between devices. Download speed up to 3 gigabytes per second. Upload speed up to 1.5 gigabytes. Client server roles, file client and server. web client and server, email client and server, DHCP server. A DCHP server provides IP addressing information. DNS server, domain name system. A DNS server translate domain names such as cisco.com to an IP addresses. Print server. A print server can control multiple printers, provides client access to print resources, allows centralized print job administration, provides feedback to the network clients. File server. A file servers allow clients to access file using a specific protocol. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. FTFS, File Transfer Protocol Secure. SFTP, Secure Cell File Transfer Protocol. SCP, Secure Copy. Client Network to Server. 1. Control connection. Client open first connection to the server for control traffic. 2. Data connection. Clients open second connection for the data traffics. Get data. Web server. A web server provides web resourcing using this protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, TCP port 80. Secure HTTP or HTTPS. Secure Sockets Layer, SSL. Transport Layer Security, TLS. TCP port 443. Mail server. Email messages are stored in database on mail server. Client communicates with server in order to reach different client. Protocol used to send email, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol or SMTP. Protocol used to retrieve email, Post Office Protocol, POP. Internet Message Access Protocol, IMAP. Proxy server. Proxy servers act on the behalf of a client, deciding the real internal host. Used to catch frequently accessed web pages. Authentication server. Authentication, authorization, and accounting, or AAA, allows access to the network device on particular network. Syslog server. Syslog stores network, message sent by the networking devices. 5.3, basic network devices. Network interface card. Today's computers have wired and or wireless network capability. Ethernet NIC, wireless NIC, and USB NIC. Repeaters. Repeaters, also called extender because they regenerate the signal so it can be sent further. Hub receives data on one port and sends to the other ports. Bridge divides a network into two or more segments and track which device on each segment. Switches. Ethernet switches record MAC addresses for each device connected to the switch. The data is sent to the specific device if the MAC address of the device is in the MAC address table. Managed switches are used into company environment and to have additional features. Unmanaged switches are used in home or a small business network. Wireless access point provide access to a wireless network for a limited range. Routers. Routers connect network. Use an IP address to forward traffic to other networks. Can be a multi-purpose device, integrated router that includes switching and wireless capabilities. Firewalls. A firewall protect data and devices connected to a network. Firewalls use access control lists, which are rules used to determine whether the data is permitted, allowed through, or denied. IDS and IPS, an illustration detection system, monitor traffics is a passive system. It is a device or software application that monitors a network for malicious activity or policy violation. Any malicious activity or violation is typically reported or corrected centrally using security information and event management system. IPS, an illustration prevent system, actively monitor the traffic and takes action when needed, identifies suspicious activities and detects or prevents them from attacking computer network. UTMs, Universal Threat Management, is an all-in-one security appliance. Features are vendor specific but could include firewall services, IDS IPS services, additional security service against zero-day, denial of service, distributed denial of service, and spyware, proxy and email filtering, network access control, VPN services, endpoint management server. An endpoint management servers monitor and device such as PCs, laptops, servers, tablet, printers, etc. Legacy and embedded system. A legacy system is a device on a network no longer supported but is still in operation. An embedded system is a device built into something else, such as an appliance. Embedded microchips are contained in legacy system and embedded system. Legacy systems are embedded systems, could be a security risk. The patch panel, a centralized place where network cables attached to the back patch cable are used to make a connection to another patch panel, which connect to a different wiring closet or to a device such as a switch mounted nearby. Power over Ethernet and the Ethernet over power, PoE, power on Ethernet. It is standard for providing power to the device such as APs, cameras, or IP phones through a cable. PoE injector can be connected to a cable. A second cable is used to connect a device that receives power from the injector. Cloud-based network controller. A cloud-based network controller is a remote device used to manage network devices like access points or switches. 5.4 Network cables. Network tools and description. Wire cutter or side cutter. Wire strippers. Crimper used to secure attach an RJ45 connector. Punch down tool used to terminate wires into termination. Multimeter. Tone generator. Loopback adapter used to check a port. Cable tester. Wi-Fi analyzer. Cable types. Cable types used in networking. Twisted pair, coaxial cable, fiber optic, copper conductor, plastic insulation, blade copper shielding, outer jacket, used in a cable TV system and satellite communication system, harder to install, more expensive, and harder to troubleshoot than twisted pair cabling, the BNC, N-type, and F-type. Twisted pair cabling types, the unshielded twisted pair, UTP, shielded twisted pair, STP, UTP, most common, 4 pairs of colored wires, prone to electromagnetic interference, and radio frequency. STF, better protection against EMI and RFI, more expensive and harder to install. Twisted pair category ratings, speed, Support 100 Mbps at 100 MHz. Cat5e UTP. It supports speed 1 gigabytes at 100 MHz. Cat6 UTP. It supports the speed 1 gigabytes at 250 MHz. Twisted pair wire schemes. The T568A and T568B. Color labels: white green, green, white brown, blue, white blue, orange, white brown, brown. T568B color label: white orange, orange, white green, blue, green, white brown, brown. Fiber optics cable. Fiber optic cables use light to transmit signal, not affected by EMI or RFI. Types of fiber media: single mode fiber, SMF, small core, use laser technology to send one beam of light, long distance. Multi-mode fiber, MMF, large core, use LED to send light. Light is injected at different angles, cheaper. Bandwidth up to 10 gigabytes, up to 550 meters. Fiber optic ST connection, LC connector, SC connectors, and duplex multi-mode LC connectors. Chapter 6, Applied Networking. 6.1, Device to Network Connection. Network addressing. Two network addresses. A fingerprint is like a MAC addresses. A mailing address is like an IP address. MAC addresses format. Address format and the description. Two hexadecimal digits separated by hyphens. Two hexadecimals digit separated by colon. Four hexadecimal digits separated by periods. IPv4 addresses format, 32 bits in that decimal notation. Sample, that is 192.168.200.8. The IPv6 address format, it supports 132 bits in hexadecimal format. Two network addresses. When a laptop is moved to different network, the MAC addresses stays the same, but the IP4 and the IPv6 addresses change. A MAC address is a unique number that is part of the NIC. IP addresses are assigned by the company or internet provider. Displaying the addresses, use the /all. Switch with the ipconfig commands to see the MAC physical addresses. Type ipconfig all and it displays the physical address of your MAC address. IPv4 address format. Two parts of an IP address, the network and the host. The subnet must determine which parts of the addresses is the network part. The network portion of the address due to subnet and the host portion. In binary notation, IPv4, that is 32 bits. It starts to the first bits, that is 1, 2, 4, 8. If you add all the ones, that's the present value, you will get 8. That is the host portion. And that is the third octet. That is 1, 2, 4, 8. Then 16, 32, 64. And then 1 to 8. If you add all this value, 128 plus 64 plus 8, that is 200. That is the network portion. IPv6 address format, rules, omit leading zeros, 0db8 can be db8, omit all zero segments, use double colons. Static addressing, static address information needed for communication with other networks and the internet. IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, address of router so information can be sent to the other network. DNS server converts domain names or URL to the IP addresses for easy reachability or remote websites and devices. Dynamic addressing, you can get IP address setting assigned automatically if your network supports this capability. Obtain an IP addressing automatically. Obtain DNS server addresses automatically. IP addressing information comes from a DHCP server. Link local, IPv4 and IPv6 addresses. IPv4 device uses if the device cannot obtain an IPv4 IP address. IPv6, device must always have a dynamic or manually configure. Link local IPv6 IP addresses. Configure a NIC, network design, network components, network design, typically home network in small business and homes, wireless router, perform to a role to access point, Ethernet switch and router. Selecting a NIC, wired Ethernet, and wireless Ethernet. Installing and updating a NIC. If installing a wireless NIC, ensure antenna is positioned for optimum reachability. Use Device Manager to view the driver's details. Expand the network adapters category. Right-click on a specific NIC, properties, or updates, driver. Configure a NIC, wireless devices including smartphones. Also need an IP addresses to participate on a wireless network. ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol, is used to test connectivity and send controls an error message. The ping command is part of ICMP. Connecting wired devices to the internet. To connect a small office or home wired network device, first, connect the cable to the device. Second, connect other end of cable to switch, yellow port. And 3, connect cables between the wireless router, blue port, and the broadband modem. Logging into router, open a browser and enter the default IP addresses on the router. Change the default username and password immediately. The basic network setup. Log into router. 2, change the default password. 3, log in with new password. 4, set the DHCP address range. 5, renew IP address on devices. ipconfig release. And then ipconfig renew commands. And 6, change default IP address and log in with new IP addresses. Basic wireless settings. 1, view WAN LAN defaults. 2, change the network mode. 3, configure SSID. 4, configure channel. 5, configure security mode. And 6, configure the passphrase. Configure a wireless mesh network. Wireless mesh network in at home. Authentication, that is WPA2 PSK. Not for IPv4. Converts private IPv4 addresses to Internet Reroutable Public IPv4 addresses. Quality of service or QoS. Configure allows prioritization of specific traffic types. Example, that is QoS setup. Firewall settings, UPnP, Universal Plug and Play. is not a secure and it's a security risk. UPN allows device to dynamically add themselves to a wireless network without intervention, configuration. DMZ, a demilitarized zone, is a network that provides service to untrusted network. A DMZ, Open Contained Server, some wireless router, supports creation of a DMZ. Port forwarding. Port forwarding allows traffic to a specific port. Port triggering allows temporary opening in the firewall to allow data to specific inbound ports or a port range for an application or game. MAC addressing filter. MAC addressing filter is used to specify MAC addresses that are allowed on the wireless network. Whitelisting and blacklisting. Whitelisting allow users such as children or employees access to specific IP addresses. Blacklisting, block known website. IoT device configuration, Internet of Things or IoT may connect to a pre-existing network or a network of its own. A smartphone contains IoT devices. IoT devices in packet tracer. Network troubleshooting process. Step 1, identify the problem. 2, establish a theory of probable cause. 3, test the theory to determine the cause. 4, establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement solution. 5, verify full system functionality and if applicable, implemented preventive measure. And 6, document findings, action, and outcomes. Network troubleshooting process, the six steps to troubleshoot a network. Step 1, identify the problem. Open-ended question, close-ended question. Step 2, establish a theory probable cause, common cause of a network problems, loss of cable connection, improper installed NIC, ISP is down, low wireless signal strength, invalid IP addresses, DNS service issues, DHCP service issues. Step 3, test the theory to determine the cause. Common steps to determine the cause. Check that all cables are connected to the proper location. Unseat and then reconnect cables and connectors. Reboot the computer or network devices. Log in as different user. Repair or re-enable the network connection. Contact the network administrator. Ping the device default gateway. Access a remote web page such as www.cisco.com. Step 4, establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. If no solution is achieved in the previous step, further research is needed to implement the solution. Help desk report log, other technicians, manufacturer FAQ websites, technical websites, news groups, computers manuals, device manuals, online forums, internet search. Step 5, verify full system functionality and if applicable, implement preventive measure. Use ipconfig/all command to display IP addresses information for all network adapters. Use ping to check the network connectivity. Verify the device can access authorized resources like company, email, servers, and the internet. Research additional commands or ask the supervisor for helping with other testing utilities. Step 6. Documents findings, action, and outcomes. Discuss the solution implemented with the customer. Have the customer verify problem has been solved. Provide the customer with all paperwork. Document the steps taken to solve the problem in the work order and technician's journal. Document any components used in the repair. Document the time spent to solve the problem. Common problems and solution for networking. Identify the problem. NIC LED lights are not lit. Probable cause. The network cable is unplugged or damaged. Possible solution, reconnect or replace the network connection to the computer. The NIC is damaged. Possible solution, replace the NIC. A device can connect to a network device by the IP addresses but not by the host name. Probable cause, incorrect host naming. Probable solution, re-enter the host name. Incorrect DNS settings. Possible solution, re-enter the IP address of the DNS server. DNS server is not operational. Possible solution, restart the DNS server. A user cannot access the FTP server. Probable cause, FTP is being blocked by the firewall at the router. Possible solution, ensure that ports 20 and 21 are allowed through the router's outbound firewall. FTP is being blocked by the Windows firewall. Possible solution, ensure that ports 20 and 21 are allowed through the Windows outbound firewall. The maximum number of users has been reached. Possible solution, increase the maximum numbers of simultaneous FTP users on the FTP server. A device on one network cannot ping a device to another network. Probable cause, there is a broken link between the two networks. Possible solution, use tracer to locate which link is down and fix the broken link. ICMP is blocked at the router. Possible solution, configure the router to allow ICMP, echo requests, and echo replies. ICMP is blocked at the Windows firewall. Possible solution, configure Windows firewall to allow ICPM's echo requests and echo replies.